Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we are demystifying the whole sequence of dividend dates. If you're prepping for your CMA exam, you already know corporate finance is, well, it's a heavily weighted beast. And understanding exactly how and when dividends are paid, that is an absolute must. So we're going to map out the complete timeline so you can confidently tackle literally any question the test makers decide to throw your way. So here is our roadmap for today. First, the complete dividend timeline. Then, we'll tackle the Ex-Dividend anomaly, break down a practical buy-sell scenario, and finally, wrap up with those super common exam mistakes.
All right, Section 1, the dividend timeline.
Let's trace the actual chronological life cycle of a dividend, from its, birth all the way to the day the cash actually hits the investor's mailbox. When you're studying all this corporate finance stuff, it is honestly incredibly easy to just jumble these dates in your head. But if we look at it chronologically, you see this really distinct linear progression. Let's use a fictional company. We'll call them Tech Corp. We kick things off at day 0 with the date of declaration. Then, notice how the ex-dividend date kind of sneaks in right before the date of record. For our example, we're using a standard 2-business-day gap there. And then finally, a few weeks later, we reach payday, the date of distribution. Recognizing these specific time gaps is absolutely crucial so you don't get confused later on in the exam.
Okay, so the whole sequence kicks off with the date of declaration. This is the exact day the corporate board of directors meets up and formally votes to declare a dividend. Now, the absolutely crucial point here is the accounting impact. The very moment this vote happens, there are no backsies. The dividend officially becomes a legal liability for the corporation. Tech Corp is now legally on the hook to pay this money out of its retained earnings.
Fast forward a bit, usually about 2 to 6 weeks after that declaration, and we hit the date of record. This is basically Tech Corp just checking its books to see exactly who owns the stock at that specific snapshot in time. Literally, only the shareholders who are officially listed on the corporation's books as of this exact date are going to get that declared dividend. It is the ultimate administrative cutoff point. And finally, we reach the finish line, the date of distribution. Payday! This usually happens around 2 to 4 weeks after the date of record. The checks are quite literally put into the mail, or, assuming Tech Corp is actually living in the 21st century, the funds get electronically zapped right into investors' brokerage accounts.
Moving on to Section 2, the Ex-Dividend anomaly.
Now, you might have noticed a slight hiccup in our timeline just a minute ago, a sneaky little date that slips in right before the date of record. This is a massive exam concept, so definitely pay close attention to this distinction. The dates of declaration, record, and distribution, those are all established by the corporate board of directors, but the ex-dividend date is completely different. It is not set by the board. It is actually set by the stock exchanges themselves. So what exactly is it? Well, the ex-dividend date is basically a buffer because stock exchanges obviously need time to actually process trades and physically update ownership records. They set up this date. Very often, it's 2 business days prior to the date of record. That specific window gives the exchange members the necessary time to process any of those pending in-flight transactions. It just ensures that brand new shareholders are properly recorded and will actually receive the cash they're entitled to. And this brings us to a super fascinating market mechanic that triggers on this exact day. Usually, the actual stock price will physically drop on the ex-dividend date, and it drops by the exact amount of the dividend. So if Tech Corp is paying a $1 dividend, you can generally expect their share price to drop by exactly $1 the second the opening bell rings on the ex-dividend date. Instead of just memorizing that the price drops, let's actually logic this out. The stock goes ex-dividend, right? That means anyone who buys it today is locked out of receiving that upcoming dividend check. So ask yourself, why on earth would a new buyer pay the exact same price today as they would have yesterday, right? They wouldn't. If you buy the stock today fully knowing you aren't getting that extra cash payout, you simply are not going to pay full price for the share. The market just automatically discounts the stock price to reflect the fact that the cash has effectively left the stock. All right, let's get into Section 3, the buy-sell scenario breakdown. Let's apply this to the exact type of scenario you're going to be tested on. Think about this for a second, because this is the classic exam setup. You buy a stock 1 day before the exchange's cutoff date. Who is legally entitled to that previously declared dividend? Is it you, the brand new buyer, getting the check? Or does it go to the person who just sold it to you? Well, the ex-dividend date is a literal line in the sand. Crossing it dictates exactly whose pocket that money is going into. If an investor buys a share before the ex-dividend date, the buyer gets a dividend. Boom.
But if you buy it on or after that date, the buyer gets absolutely nothing. The seller gets to keep it.
Let's solidify this with a quick comparison. Say buyer A makes their purchase right before the ex-dividend date. Because they beat that cutoff, their transaction fully processes by the date of record and buyer A gets the check. Awesome for them. Now what about buyer B? They bought the stock on the ex-dividend date. They were too late. Their name is simply not going to be on TechCorp's books in time. So buyer B gets nothing, and the seller receives the dividend, all because the seller was still the recognized owner when that cutoff hit.
Finally, Section 4, Common Exam Mistakes.
Now that we deeply understand the mechanics of all these dates, let's wrap this explainer up by highlighting the specific traps test makers love to use to trip up candidates. Think of these as your insider cheat codes. First, do not let them trick you into thinking the board of directors sets all the dates. Remember, the stock exchange sets the ex-dividend date. Second, never mix up the middle of that timeline. The ex-dividend date always precedes the date of record. Third, the stock price drops on the ex-dividend date, not on the declaration date. And finally, if a question explicitly says a stock was purchased on the ex-dividend date, the seller gets the cash. Period. So I want to leave you with a quick challenge. Grab a blank piece of paper right now and try to draw out this entire timeline completely from memory. Jot down the dates, who sets them, and what happens to the stock price. Mastering this visual flow is hands down the best way to secure those CMA points. But stepping back from the exam for a second, think about this. If a stock's price automatically drops by the dividend amount on the ex-dividend date, is it ever actually possible to game the system and get free money just by timing your stock purchases? Really makes you think about how efficient the market actually is. Keep studying hard, trust the timeline, and you are going to do great.